Good morning from Goosneck State Park. I always thought it was a state park until I just read a sign here that says State Preserve. There's a little campground here. Where am I? That's a good question. I am in Utah. I'm in nearest town is Mexican Hat. That's just over there somewhere. Right over that way, where am I? Off over in the distance there is Monument Valley. That is actually I think is it Navahoe National Park over there. Be visiting that later. I got Valley of the Gods just over that way towards the sunrise. And Bears Ears National Monument and Natural Bridges National Monument is also that away. But other than that, I'm just sitting above the San Juan River, where the river has carved its way deep into a canyon that just sort of snakes through here and bends back. It's not just a horseshoe bend. We got a horseshoe bend over there, another one over here, and who knows what beyond in this area. But we're going to take a look at the camping options here. Oh, and for those without a nervous mom, there is a way to get down to this red point out there. You can see a slight little trail there, so you can get a better view of the San Juan River flowing by. And that is, I get my little walled section here. On the other side of this wall, there's a little access point. Brings you down and off there if you're adventurous and somebody's not going to yell at you for it. Now we are in the middle of the desert, in a place with no facilities, no infrastructure. So that means while there are porta potties here, or not porta potties, pit toilets, there is no water up here. You must bring your own water to this campground. So plan for that. So you come down the road to the little guard shack. Everything here is powered by solar. They have Starlink here. It's for them to have credit card capabilities. And to give you Wi-Fi. Now, it's saying public Wi-Fi, park pass, password, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't find that. It doesn't seem to exist. But I was able to just connect to Starlink. Prices. Just to visit here is $5 per vehicle. Campground is $10 per vehicle, and that includes your, vehicle pass. So to spend the night here is only $10. You can pay online or pay with cash in the Iron Ranger over here. And it's kind of interesting. You look at this Iron Ranger and think, well, nobody's going to move that. There's the old one. Sitting right there. This is definitely a dark sky place. There are no lights themselves here. There's no lights at the pit toilets or anything like that. So be respectful of your neighbors. Stargazing out here is amazing. I mean, we are not that high. We're only like about 5,000 feet. It's only about 4,000 feet at the bottom of the canyon. Depending on wildfire conditions in the area will determine, how good your air quality is. It actually looks better now than it did when we got here yesterday. But we were able to see a lot of stars last night. Got a clear shot of the Milky Way. Now, come off that road here. We got this sort of point. This is sort of the day you just come out and look at the view and Monument Valley in the distance. But you can kind of camp anywhere along this circle over here. Oh, hanging a hammock on those structures. I hadn't thought of that. There's no real set campsite numbers or anything like that. So how many sites are here? Yeah, I really couldn't tell you. And then there's another little cluster over here. This gives you a cluster of about 5 sites that are on the edge, and some that are not, that have shade structures. Those shade structures are only good midday when the sun is at its highest. Once it starts getting low, they don't do you any good. But these sites are just hanging out, looking over this bend. Now, beyond this little cluster here, I'm going to have to go a little further out so you can see past the sun. Okay, along the non-cliff side, there's basically 4 sites. Over here, 1, 2, 3 picnic tables. But there's another site over there that has rocks around the fire ring. But there's more beyond. So beyond those designated spots there, you can go down this really, initially very rough road. I think it smooths out a little bit further, but cover that up, I don't know. Let's see. Got an RV there, truck camper out on a point there. There's another car with a tent out there, and there was someone way out at the point where the river comes back around again. You can camp anywhere out there you want, but you're just a long ways away from the bathrooms. Now, if you're going to be dry camping like that, I would suggest going a little way that way and go and dry camp in Valley of the Gods. But if you want to have access to a bathroom and spend the $10, which is nothing, you can camp with this as your view. So when you go on the state's website to look up this campground, it'll tell you there are X amount of sites. That number is very small compared to the reality of, if you're willing to drive down here, it's not like you need a 4x4, but these are kind of sharp, jaggedy things that in my vehicle are throwing us all over the place. But a car can get down there. It's not a clearance issue. And there are these little fire rings all along out there that people have built, so you can still have your campfire and see the stars. So that's what I got for you from the southern Utah desert here. Part of the state I hadn't been to before, really wanted to get to at some point, so that's part of this trip. So from Goosneck State Park, thanks for coming and watching this. Hope you got a little something out of it. Get a little better sense of what the camping is here. Lots of people have kind of tried to describe it, but it always seemed a little vague. I'll see you in the next one. Get on out there and enjoy the view.